One afternoon, she marched into the principal's office, her chin held high. "I need to report something," she said, her voice steady but laced with urgency. "Kofi and Zuri have been sneaking out at night to meet in secret. I've seen them myself." The principal's eyes narrowed, and he leaned forward, his expression grave. "Are you certain about this, Amma?" "Absolutely," she replied, her tone firm. "I thought you should know before it becomes a bigger problem." The principal thanked her and dismissed her, but his mind was already racing. He had heard whispers about Kofi and Zuri's closeness, but now he had concrete information. That evening, he decided to investigate. Late that night, as Kofi and Zuri sat beneath the old tree, their whispers were interrupted by the sudden beam of a flashlight. They froze, their hearts pounding as the principal stepped into view, his face stern and unyielding. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded, his voice cutting through the stillness of the night. "Do you two have any idea how serious this is?" Kofi and Zuri exchanged panicked glances, but there was no escaping the situation. The principal ordered them to follow him back to his office, where he delivered a stern lecture. "This behavior is unacceptable," he said, his tone icy. "Zuri, your parents would be deeply disappointed if they found out. And Kofi, do you realize how much is at stake for you? Your scholarship could be revoked if this continues." Kofi's stomach churned at the thought. His scholarship was his only chance to stay at the academy, and losing it would mean the end of his dreams. Zuri, too, looked shaken, her usual confidence replaced by fear. The principal's final words were clear and unyielding. "From now on, you are to stay away from each other. No more secret meetings, no more late-night conversations. If I hear even a whisper of this continuing, there will be serious consequences." The next few days were agonizing. Kofi and Zuri tried to maintain their distance, but the ache of separation was unbearable. They exchanged brief, polite greetings in the hallway, but the warmth and intimacy they had shared were gone. It felt like a part of them had been ripped away. One afternoon, they found themselves alone in the library. Zuri broke the silence first, her voice soft but resolute. Maybe this is for the best. We can't risk everything we've worked for. But that doesn't mean we have to stop caring about each other." Kofi nodded, though his heart ached. "You're right. We'll focus on our academics, on our dreams, and maybe someday things will be different." They agreed to remain casual friends, supporting each other from a distance. It wasn't what either of them wanted, but it was the only way to protect what they had worked so hard to achieve. As they walked out of the library that day, Kofi couldn't help but feel a sense of loss. But he also felt a glimmer of hope. Hope that one day they might find their way back to each other. Amma watched from a distance as Kofi and Zuri's once close friendship faded into polite nods and brief exchanges. She felt a twisted sense of satisfaction, convinced that her actions had restored the natural order of things. After all, Kofi was supposed to notice her, not Zuri. But to her frustration, Kofi showed no interest in her whatsoever. He remained focused on his studies, his quiet determination only making him more intriguing and more unattainable. Meanwhile, Kofi and Zuri found ways to stay connected, even if it had to be in secret. They no longer met under the old tree or shared stolen kisses, but their bond remained strong. They began exchanging letters, slipping them into each other's lockers or books when no one was looking. These letters became their lifeline, a way to share their thoughts, dreams, and fears without risking exposure. One letter from Zuri. "Dear Kofi, I miss our talks under the stars. Sometimes I feel like the world is too small for the dreams we have, but I know we'll find a way to make them come true. Keep writing to me. Your words are my favorite part of the day. Yours, Zuri." Kofi's reply was just as heartfelt. "Dear Zuri, I miss you too, more than I can say. But you're right, we have to keep dreaming, keep fighting. One day we'll look back on this and laugh. Until then, your letters are my light in the dark. Always, Kofi." Their hidden friendship became a source of strength for both of them. They supported each other through the challenges of their final school days, celebrating small victories and comforting each other during setbacks. Though they couldn't be together openly, their connection remained as deep and meaningful as ever. As the end of the school year approached, they found themselves cherishing the little moments they could share. A passing smile in the hallway, a quick exchange of books, or a whispered word of encouragement before an exam. These small gestures kept their bond alive. On the last day of school, Zuri slipped a final letter into Kofi's locker. Dear Kofi, this isn't the end. It's just the beginning. No matter where life takes us, I'll always carry a piece of you with me. Thank you for being my best friend, my confidant, and my inspiration. Forever yours, Zuri. Kofi read the letter with a lump in his throat. He knew their journey was far from over, but the thought of being apart from Zuri was almost too much to bear. Still, he held on to her words, finding comfort in the promise they held. As they walked across the stage at graduation, their eyes met for a brief moment. In that instant, they shared a silent understanding. Their story wasn't finished. It was only a chapter, and the best was yet to come. Life after St. Elor Academy was a whirlwind of change and challenges for both Kofi and Zuri. Though they were no longer walking the same hallways or sharing secret moments under the old tree, their connection remained as strong as ever, tested by distance but unbroken by time. Kofi began his studies at State University in Nigeria, immersing himself in his coursework and his dream of becoming a teacher. The campus was bustling with energy, and he quickly made new friends. But his heart often wandered to Zuri. He missed her laughter, her wisdom, and the way she made even the simplest moments feel extraordinary. Zuri, on the other hand, moved to a prestigious university in London. The city was a world away from everything she had ever known. Vast, fast-paced, and filled with opportunities. She thrived in her new environment, excelling in her literature classes and exploring the vibrant cultural scene. But despite her success, she often found herself longing for the familiarity of home and the comfort of Kofi's presence. Their love endured through letters, calls, and messages. Every week, without fail, they would write to each other, pouring their hearts onto paper. Kofi's letters were filled with stories of his students, his struggles with adjusting to university life, and his dreams for the future. Zuri's replies were poetic and vivid, describing the beauty of London, the books she was reading, and the moments when she missed him the most. One evening, as Kofi sat in his small dorm room, he received a call from Zuri. Her voice, though miles away, felt as close as ever. Kofi, she said, her tone soft but tinged with sadness. Sometimes I feel like I'm living two lives, one here in London and one back home with you. It's hard to balance them. Kofi sighed, his heart aching for her. I know what you mean, but we'll find a way, Zuri. We always do. Remember the old tree? We promised each other that this wasn't the end. It's just another chapter. Zuri smiled, her spirits lifting. You're right, and this chapter will make our story even more beautiful. Their conversations became a lifeline, a way to bridge the distance between them. They shared their triumphs and their struggles, their hopes and their fears. Though they were apart, their bond grew stronger, fueled by the love and respect they had for each other. But the challenges of long-distance love were not easy to overcome. There were moments of doubt, times when the weight of their separation felt unbearable. Kofi worried that Zuri's new life in London would pull her further away from him, while Zuri feared that Kofi's responsibilities at State University would leave little room for their relationship. Yet through it all, they held on to the promise they had made to each other. They were more than just lovers. They were partners, confidants, and best friends. And no matter how far apart they were, they knew that their love was worth fighting for. As the months turned into years, Kofi and Zuri continued to support each other, their letters and calls a testament to the strength of their bond. They were building separate lives, but their hearts remained intertwined, waiting for the day when they could be together again.